Our protagonist Chroma is called by a certain girl. He doesn't realize if it's a dream. Screaming, she says goodbye to him, but he tells her to wait. Around the girl are many huge giants in the fog. She does not realize what is happening. The boy doesn't realize what he is seeing. He assumes about it being someone's memories. Chrome realized that this was probably the case, but then why was he in pain? That was something he could not understand. Waking up screaming, the protagonist realized that it was a dream. Chrome doesn't understand how this happened. He decides to identify the furnishings. It is unlikely that he will be locked in here. Looking out the window, he saw a familiar street. In the reflection of the mirror, the protagonist did not recognize his face, for it had looked different before. Looking at the street, Chrome was surprised by something. His tears flowed non-stop, abruptly having a flashback with memories. In front of him is the shape of a certain girl, and he realizes that this is what he needs to remember. The girl is lying on his lap, and he embraces her. Interrupting his memories, someone was walking behind him, humming a tune. The girl congratulates Chrome on turning 16. Both surprised, she doesn't understand why he reacted the way he did to her congratulations. The girl is startled to ask about whether Chrome is crying. She ran up to him, started to find out if he was alright, and asked him if he had had a bad dream. In her words, he began to recognize familiar facial features. Her voice was familiar to him. She was shocked when he asked if she was Elle. The girl does not understand what is happening to him, but he wonders if it is Elruna Moonheart, some kind of heroine. Elrond should have died back when he was a child, but after these thoughts, the memories come flooding back into his mind. A certain man spoke of time traveling 100 years forward. He was the 12th sage of the chief post Chromis Chronogate. After 100 years, he seems to be the only remaining time mage. This was our protagonist. Back in the flashbacks, we are shown the main character. He is devastated. By the time he has managed to become the strongest, he has no time for the people, cities, and countries that Chrome wanted to protect. So he decided to live his life once more from scratch. Back in the present, we see Chrome asking Elle about today's date. She is surprised. Today is the 10th of April of the 1200th year according to the goddess's calculus. She was confused by the main character's creepy face. He laughed at the news, pleased. Chrome started laughing very loudly in the room, raising Elle. She was perplexed. Tossing the girl up, he shouted that he had succeeded in time traveling. Elle did not understand anything, but the hero continued to toss her again and again, laughing loudly. Chrome was insanely happy that he could touch the girl. He was very happy, but she was wary and she was worried about his odd behavior. The guy hugged the girl very hard. Chrome started apologizing to her. He told her that he was too excited to meet her, to which she replied to him that he was a weirdo and they had been together all along. The main character kept asking for forgiveness. He looked at her so in love as if he hadn't seen her in a very long time. To him they had, but to her they had always been there for each other. Chrome found himself in a world that was 100 years ago. Apparently, there were peaceful days in his hometown back then, and he is different from that time. He intends to get it right this time, no matter what it costs him. Today was the turning point when it all began. Elle was frightened, for the guy had changed a little in appearance and in behavior. The girl says that he smells something unusual. Chrome asked about whether he did something strange. The girl says that everything is strange, because in an instant he seemed from the outside like an adult or something. Chrome was surprised. The protagonist, before meeting her at this time, was always with a sullen expression on his face, and the girl is very glad that she was able to make him smile. Chrome tells her that he will try to smile more often. Elle is embarrassed. She shyly goes on to say that he is kind of weird. The guy thinks that apparently he has been defined as a weirdo. Chrome asked her if breakfast was made. The girl was shocked because he asked her this in such an adult way, and she wondered why he was addressing her in such an adult way. Elle called him out and he began to get nostalgic about this time where he lived 100 years ago. We are transported to memories of long before living in this house. The guy remembers his childhood. His parents tell him that he is the son of the Belmondo family, but he did not do well at all with magic. The protagonist was kicked out of his home. Wherever he went, he was harassed everywhere. He believed that there was no place for anywhere in the whole world. Chrome recalls that the one who met him and pulled him back into the light was Elle, who found him sitting in the street. The girl, smiling, extended her hand to him. Time is transported to the present. A certain young man and woman wishing Chrome a good morning. These people turn out to be Elle's parents, Mr. Sirius and Mrs. Riene. They were the ones who took him in and raised him as their own. Everyone is very happy. They wish him a happy birthday. His father strokes his head, saying that Chrome is now 16 years old too. Dad tells him that he's a decent chap. Chrome started crying. Everyone started to worry, asking about his condition in case he was in pain. His father checked him for a fever, but he didn't have one. Questions of worry came out of their mouths every second. The protagonist, wiping away tears, tells them that he is not in any pain. He was just too excited about his birthday. Dad asked in surprise that he was happy right to the point of tears, but Chrome was just glad he could get those very days back. The family routine began and everyone started to get ready for breakfast. Chrome asked to help Mrs. Rena arrange the plates. Mom didn't mind her son's help. Elle started to tell the boy to sit down. She reminded him of a little animal, but he informed her of his mother's help. Chrome started stroking the girl's head, chuckling and telling her that it wasn't easy for one, but she raged and started talking about how she would help with setting out the dishes. It's very hard for Elle to carry the tray of plates. She wants to do it all by herself. After all, it's Chrome's birthday. The hard work doesn't stop her. Something has happened to the protagonist. He feels like he is having deja vu. Looking at the girl, he realizes what is about to happen. Elle slipped and dropped a tray of dishes. Chrome remembered that he had seen this before in a past life. The hero used acceleration magic and doubled his speed. With lightning speed, he flew up to the girl. He caught her like he was a real hero. The plate shattered, but Elle was unharmed. Chrome allowed cast a spell to cancel the double speed increase. The girl screamed, but hearing it, she didn't understand anything. The girl screamed, asking when he had time to run to her. Her mother was also in complete shock. Elle didn't understand how he had time to catch her. After all, he was just sitting on a chair. Chrome started making excuses that it came out reflexively. He had no time to think that he would have access to magic from the future. The protagonist is not more concerned with magic but with Elle's condition. He asks her if she's okay and she tells him that she's fine. She gets embarrassed, saying that she is uncomfortable in this position, and immediately starts making excuses, saying that it doesn't mean trouble. The protagonist let the girl go and started to apologize, but she gave him a very strange look. He didn't understand why. The father confirmed the fact that it was awkward, but he talked about how even a court night wouldn't have been so clever. Chrome was snidely surprised when he asked if father really thought so. Dad asked since when could he do such a thing, for it was unlikely that such a thing could be done without amplification magic. The protagonist realizes that at this time he did not yet possess magic and it would be strange if he pretended as if it came out by accident. He decided to say that in truth, he had mastered body enhancement magic, but only a little. His parents were very shocked. The father ran up to his adopted son. He was very surprised. Dad hugged Chrome. He was genuinely happy for him. After all, the boy had always worked so hard. He believes that today is indeed his lucky day. The protagonist wondered if they were so happy that he used simple magic, but thinking back to that time, he was that backward student. Everyone abruptly remembered that they were hungry and started calling each other to the table for breakfast. Chrome recites to himself today's date, namely the 10th of April in the year 1202. He had failed in his past life, but in the meantime realizes how long it has been since he has had a proper meal. Today there is to be a huge catastrophe. The boy eats very fast, and his parents tell him to take his time or he will choke so. We are shown flashbacks from the past where everyone is dead. The main character says that he will not go through this again and he will definitely prevent it. After all, that is what they have lived these 100 years for. Thinking about it, Chrome still chokes up. His parents are laughing. There is a good family atmosphere around. The guy wants to be sure to save these happy days. We're being transported 100 years into the future. Here comes the announcement that among the wise men there is now a wise man of time. It turns out to be our protagonist, Chrome Chronogate. He began to be congratulated for being the strongest in this world. He was the strongest powerful being in this world. The guy intends to start from scratch. Chrome realizes he needs to start today, this very hour. Mom apologizes for pestering him with the request, even though he's just finished breakfast. She says he would really help her out if he would. Chrome gladly goes to help her. He will be glad if he can be of any help. Guy thinks it's best to imitate what he did in a past life if possible. The protagonist decides to reveal the initiative to do the laundry himself because his mother already has a lot of things to do. Mom looked surprised. Chrome asked that maybe something was wrong, but Mrs. Rena replied that today he was behaving quite like an adult. Mom is pleased. She thinks she can rely on our main character. Mrs. Rena informs her foster son that she will be in the kitchen and if he encounters anything he doesn't understand, he can come for help. The boy replies that he understands. The protagonist realizes that here he is alone. Chrome thinks the first thing to focus on is the magical cycles throughout his body. He needs to understand the possibilities of using magic at this young age. As the protagonist began to see the image of the magical cycles, he noticed that they were different from those in the future. As a child, the magic cycles were abnormally weak and he could not use magic in any form. One later he realized that he still had an aptitude for one type of magic. It was a magic that did not exist and was thought to be fictional. It was the magic of time. After some thought, he realized that he had a general idea of the flow of magical power and was ready to begin. Chrome cast a magic spell, namely the time jump retrograde formula. He had succeeded. He realized that he could still apparently use his magic without any problems. The remaining things he wanted to get done within one go. Elle happily ran home, her thoughts on the fact that she had gone grocery shopping for a long time and her mom had probably already started cooking. The main character decided to wash the clothes he was wearing as well. Looking in the mirror, he was surprised, for he was more muscular than he remembered. He remembered that he had trained every day to be a practical knight, and then he could fight. Elle was peeking, standing behind a tree, and the boy noticed her. She wondered why he had undressed. Chrome replies to her that he is doing laundry and notices that she is embarrassed. In response, the girl says that before it was always him in her place. The protagonist says that there is not much to be embarrassed about, as they used to shower together when they were kids. The girl is even more embarrassed. Chrome finished his chores, and even though it was early, he still had a workout scheduled. In a train of thought, Chrome remembers that you could say he was an apprentice living with his employer's family, so helping out was a matter of course. His mom is shocked as he finished quickly, even though there was a lot of work to do. The boy remembers that he was trained daily by Sirius. Mrs. Rihanna is pleasantly surprised, for the clothes were very clean. At this moment, Elle began to shyly call out to the protagonist. Embarrassed, the girl began to ask the guy if he liked her apron. She promised that there would be something delicious for him for dinner. Chrome thanked the girl, but telling her that since she had said so, it wouldn't be a surprise now. Elle went into a stupor. The protagonist went to practice and the girl wished him good luck. Going outside, Chrome feels as if he is behind the scenes of a past phase of life, for that evening his house was destroyed. That night, the house was destroyed in that terrible disaster. However, now that he has mastered time magic, things will be different. Someone appeared in his path. The protagonist thought it was an enemy, but it was Sirius. He apologized and said he thought he saw that sign that always. The foster father asked if he was hurt. The lad said he was not. He's fine, but maybe there was something different in the neighborhood. The father thinks Elle will be upset. The protagonist begins to recount the tale of the sword master, Sirius Moonheart. He finds it hard to imagine. Normally this man's behavior is usually mild, yet when he picks up a sword, his aura freezes the blood. Chrome ranted aloud, saying he was feeling nostalgic. Sirius heard it, but the boy stuck it out. His father says he's earlier than usual and it's about time he started training. The lad responds by saying that he finished chores earlier and yes, it's okay to start. The training began as usual with a test of his movements on a straw-stuffed animal. The protagonist is excited. He wants to find out what his sword-wielding abilities are in a real body. The boy rushed towards the scarecrow, unsheathing his sword. He struck the first blow, Sirius watching him carefully. Immediately he began to strike a second successful blow. Chrome moves better than he expected. A final crushing blow was delivered. The protagonist sighed tiredly. The boy asked Sirius his opinion. The man said it was nothing like it had been before today. Guy's tension in his shoulders and wrists disappeared, and he took a swing of the sword with his lower body properly. The center of gravity was also not deviated. He handled the sword brilliantly. The protagonist was stunned at what he heard. He thanked the man, saying that he had learnt the skill of swordsmanship almost by himself. Chrome frankly pleased with Sirius Sand's praise. In response, the teacher asked what kind of training he had been doing in general, for he believed that the lad had suddenly blossomed into a talent. In thought, Sirius thinks about the fact that the movements looked like he had been through somewhere around a century of real battles. Chrome expected such a reaction from him, for the man was a master swordsman. Sirius said that it was more than enough for the base, and that in this case. Suddenly, a girl in a dress interrupted them, wishing teacher Sirius good morning. Chrome recognized her as Labyris Scarlet. She was the daughter of the Scarlet Marquis family, one of the four most famous families of the Kingdom of Historia. She was as much his childhood friend as Elle. We're transported back to their childhood. The children are talking about where they want to go. Yesterday they went to the library to read books. Then there was a suggestion that they hadn't gone to the lake in a long time and why not go there. Chrome suggests running to the lake for a race and rushes off first. The girls run after him and yell about how it's not fair. After getting there first, he runs very loudly about it. The laughter of the children is heard. Elle was faster than the protagonist thought. Labyris is tired and asks to be waited on, but the children laugh in response. Chrome says that the contest is over and she can stop trying so hard. Elle says if she's tired, let her walk. The lagging girl collapses to the ground from exhaustion. The girl roared and the boys began to soothe her. The hero tells us that Labyris was a crybaby, kept alone. Soon afterwards she began to train with Chrome under the guidance of Mr. Sirius. The smiling Labyris addresses the protagonist as if he were a brother, suggesting that they become brilliant knights. This girl was the daughter of the family of the Dukes of Scarlet, one of the four famous families of the Kingdom of Historia, and yet aspired to become the best court knight. The girl developed her talent quickly. In no time she surpassed Chrome's sword skills. The realization came to him when she became a swordswoman beyond his reach. Due to their differences in social standing and strength, Their estrangement from each other began to take on a life of its own. We return to the present where she calls Sirius teacher. She looks forward to his coaching even today. Turning her attention to Chroma, she couldn't resist telling him to stop looking at her so intently or he'd let the retard infection set in. It was as if the protagonist swallowed his tongue, speaking only the letter L, although to say her name. Unable to resist, Chroma ran to her, planted her in his arms, and started shouting about how Labyris was alive, that how great it was, because he was holding a real, live Labyris. The girl was shocked by this. Telling him to stop, for he was getting carried away, she gave him a knee strike to the jaw, asking him what it was all about. Chrome apologized, saying that it was involuntary and that he was glad to see her. At that very second he realized that he had done it in vain, for at this time Labyris could not stand him. The girl did not realize anything. The girl sniffed, turning away. The teacher began to talk about today's training. Without finishing the training plan, he was interrupted by the girl. Chrome was fine with it, but Labyris was negative because she thinks who would fight such a pervert. The protagonist was very much upset after hearing such words about him. Labyris began to say that training with Chrome would not work out for them, for she is much stronger than him and she sees no point in it. The teacher said that he understands her aspirations to become stronger, but he thinks that Chrome is strong enough now, even if one compares them to her. Labyris laughs at the protagonist. She thinks it's a joke because she thinks that Chrome still can't even use magic without embarrassment. She doesn't understand why a retard like him is still holding a sword. The girl tells him that he still aspires to be a hero like he was as a child. She tells him very hurtful words that someone like him can't protect anyone anyway. In response, the protagonist apologizes to her and tells her that he still has reasons why he should keep the sword. Labyris is surprised. She agrees to arrange a training fight, but only on one condition. If she wins more, that he never touch the sword again. Chrome was fine with it. The teacher was surprised. The girl talks about how he may be a little stronger now, but he really thinks he can overpower her. Chrome says a counter condition. If he suddenly wins, he would like her to become friends with him, just like when he was a kid. Labyris doesn't understand the guy. She doesn't know why they need friendship after all this time. Chrome confidently answers her. He needs her because he wants his friendship back with her. We are transported to his past life. Labyris also took her life at an early age. The protagonist is very sad about this, but back in the present, the girl thinks that Chrome won't win anyway and she'll deal with him in a heartbeat. The teacher reminds them that this is a training fight and they don't have to go too far. He wonders if they are ready. Chrome recalls that he never got round to making up with her then, causing him to constantly regret. He does not expect to be able to regain their friendship right away, only on the justification of a promise, but at least their relationship should be different, not like before. And they start a fight. Chrome holds a sword to the girl's throat. He believes that he can probably change the future in which will kill Labyris. The girl is stunned, but the protagonist pretty much says he was only moving fast. The outcome was clear to both. Labyris accepted defeat, saying she was giving up. Chrome breathed a sigh of relief. But suddenly applying body enhancement magic 5, the girl shouted that he would never say such a thing and rushed forward. The protagonist is surprised, feeling a little panic. The girl says she was late in reacting because she was developing the reinforcement. She laughs. Knocking the sword out of her hands, the guy launches a counterattack. He had an intimidating aura, but suddenly the teacher stopped him, saying enough is enough. Labyris fell to her knees. She is surprised that he moved by conditioned reflex. Chrome panics, thinking he has forgotten himself. He apologizes to the girl, asking if she is hurt. Labyris sits with a sad facial emotion. She starts shouting at him. She doesn't understand what's going on. She thinks that he was hiding his strength, pretending that he is not strong, that he is lagging behind. She screams, saying if he had such strength, why wasn't he beside her? Chrome realizes that this is the reason she treated him this way. Labyris had been hard to adjust to people since childhood and was lonely. It was not for him to know this any more than anyone else. He tells her, I don't know if she would believe him, but until today he was really weak and believed he didn't deserve to be around her. He tells her he will not run away again because from now on he has decided to start fresh. He laughs that she had really given up. The girl said she was wrong about all sorts of things too. Chrome tells her that he knows. She didn't realize what he meant. The guy tells her he means that he knew she was kind, awkward, but kind and always tried her best, so he really likes her. That is why he thought about wanting to be friends with her again. She got embarrassed and told him not to say such straightforwardly embarrassing things. Labyris stood up with her hands in the air and said she didn't understand why Brother Chrome was being so strange. The protagonist was surprised that she called him brother. The girl ran away, shouting that she didn't know anything. Chrome left. He hopes that their relationship has mended a bit. The teacher quite observes the scene, standing behind him. He says that, however, there is no way he was expecting such an easy victory for Labyris. Chrome says that the girl was inattentive, the teacher agrees, and that there is also her self-confidence. The trainer said that unusual were his last movements at that moment, even he would find it difficult to repeat them. He asks Chrome if it was really him, but immediately said he may not answer if he doesn't want to. Instead, he has another suggestion. The teacher suggests that they fight so he can see his seriousness. The master wants to see what he's like at full strength. Chrome agrees, and thinking that Sirius has probably figured it out by now, he will fight him at full strength. The protagonist thinks he didn't exert himself at all at the battle with Labyris. The master thanks him for accepting the duel. The duel begins, with Sirius being the first to charge. Chrome used triple speed magic. He successfully dodged the teacher's attack. He was surprised to say that he was able to stop it too. Saying fine, Sirius said that his magic was not the result of body enhancement. He said that his movements are more on speed than due to physicality. Chrome is pleasantly surprised, for his teacher's eyes do not fail him. Sirius also noticed that the heaviness of the sword was completely absent. He was right. The protagonist is surprised, because the teacher realized it in an instant. It's not really the sword itself that is accelerating. By doubling the speed, the sword's gravity will not double. Sirius having said that he understood the attempt to hide this fact, he is ready to begin the fight in earnest. The master has increased his strength 7 times. He advises Chrome to similarly relax. The real battle begins. The protagonist activates the acceleration of 4 times, trying to be faster and faster. Chrome thinks something is going on, and it's not that the body isn't used to magic, but something else. Sirius wonders if he's still keeping up. And then the teacher throws a blow that reaches its target, Chrome flying off to the side. The protagonist analyzes it. He thinks that Sirius is very strong, and not only because he has strengthened himself. He realizes that his teacher's swordsmanship is excellent, and he realizes this because he himself has become stronger. Sirius has a very fast reaction to all changes, not for nothing he is a master swordsman. After dodging the trainer's blow, Chrome decides to end it by activating the acceleration 12 times. Losing his balance, Sirius lost sight of the guy. He thought he had disappeared for a second. At the same time, with a very fast speed, Chrome is behind him in a victory pose, ready to strike a decisive blow. The protagonist says that this is his limit. Sirius understands him. The teacher gives up but remains satisfied. He tells him that Chrome has become stronger. He doesn't really understand how he has become stronger, and that he may not tell him about it, but there is one nuance. Sirius now knows what our main character's sword is like. It is not like everyone else's. He says that he has a very good weapon that he has always strived to defend, shedding no small amount of blood and tears. Placing his hand on Chrome's shoulder, Sirius tells him that he has done well and he is proud to have such a student. The protagonist thanks his teacher. Sirius tells his apprentice that he has nothing more to teach him, but if he needs help he can go to him. Chrome replies that he understands. The protagonist thinks his teacher is a wonderful person. The time is 5 hours and 30 minutes. The boy sits thinking about the fact that he had a serious fight with Sirius and was able to show him his skills. The time has come, he is ready to head to that very place. As he leaves the house, he is asked by his foster mother if he is going for a walk. He replies that yes, Chrome wants to walk down the street for a while. He asks Lena for seeds. She doesn't really understand him. To his request he asks for more magic stones, to which she replies to him that he can have them and she was going to throw them away anyway. The woman asks if he's seen Elle, since it's about to be dinner time and she's not here. Chrome replies that she is as always in the clouds and that everything is fine and he knows where she is. Laughing snidely, Mum says that Elle isn't bad about it either. The protagonist doesn't know what she means. She tells them to come home together and it will be okay if they are a little late. The boy replies to her that he understands. As he was about to leave, he was stopped by Sirius, asking where he was going. Chrome asked him if he had gone out of town. His foster father answered him that he had only just returned from there. Mum said that Chrome would now go after Al. The parents are discussing something on a topic the boy doesn't understand, but he finally decides to go about his business. The mother says goodbye to Chrome, but he realizes that this is their last conversation. As he leaves the house, he stops and turns towards them. He turns to Lena and Sirius, thanking them for raising him and welcoming him so warmly. As he does so, he talks about how they have given him so much, and no matter how much time passes, he will always remember their kindness to him. These were the very words he had been unable to say to them in his past life. They asked him if something had happened to him, to which he replied that nothing had happened and he just wanted to tell them that. Chrome didn't think that those words would be of such value to him. After saying that he had gone, Lena responded by asking if he would be back, and immediately she did not understand why she was saying such a thing. Smiling sadly, he told them that of course he would be back with Elle. It was time to leave, and he left. As he walked through the hamlet, he looked at the children, the nature, savoring this moment. He stopped at a lone tree. Remembering the place, he said to himself that it was here. Looking at this view from this hill, one could understand why this city was called the City of Flowers. As a child, Chrome often came here to play. He moved forward. Chrome looks in front of him with loving eyes. and then he found her. The girl, seeing him, smiled and called out to him. Finally, the disaster begins. The girl called out to Chrome. Al says he very rarely comes here. Guy says he was looking for her. She was surprised at that. Things are happening just like last time on this hill. The protagonist tells her that he has been asked by Mrs. Lena for dinner is coming soon. The girl says that time has flown by so fast. Chrome asks her what she is doing, but she doesn't know herself. The boy rather says she is strange. The girl agrees with him, but Al says she felt she had to go here. She wonders why here. The protagonist knows everything Al is about to say, tells the Demon King. It's all supposed to be a secret, but he's supposedly the hero. She says she was told by a smart man that this girl was born to save the world. She apologizes to him for suddenly starting to talk about strange things. Al asks that he is not surprised at all. Chrome replies to her that he is dumbfounded and she doesn't know what he means. Indeed, the guy was shocked, but really when it was the first time. With amazed eyes, he asks if she is a hero, but why? Al laughed. She tells him it's okay if he doesn't believe. She herself doesn't realize anything yet. He asks, and why does she need to mess with the Demon King? The girl replies that it is to save the world, and for that she has to go on a long journey. And before doing so, she wanted to tell him about it. He remembers the past, and thinks that he was a child then and didn't understand anything about it. The last time she started saying those very words about love, the very thing happened. The time had come. The girl was scared. The girl climbed up, and our protagonist calmly looks away. At 6 o'clock in the evening of the 1st of April 1200, the first Demon King is born in the southwestern part of the Kingdom of Historia. Demons are spawned by his appearance. They surround the city of Armen. The girl does not understand what is happening. Chrome is silent. At this point, the official count is 671 dead and only one survivor. The protagonist says it all started. We are shown a creepy area filled with large demons. Al tells Chrome that the town is in danger. The girl informs him that she has to go. The boy is surprised. He doesn't understand what she means. Elle assures him that she can stop it. He holds out his hand, hoping she will stop. The protagonist tells her that she doesn't need to go there and Mr. Sirius can handle it. The last words meant that he needs to stay here. She apologizes and walks away saying she is a hero. The townsfolk looking out of the tower say the demons are near. The townspeople are in a panic, all wanting to escape but not realizing how to escape. Sirius begins to calm all the people around him. Chroma's teacher started trying to stop the monsters. The citizens were told that all those who want to help should gather all the weapons and start defending the town. Upon leaving the city, the sword master cut down the first demon that came his way. He and the townspeople are very serious. They intend to stop them. The horrible creatures began their attack. A real war has begun between humans and demons. Elle walks past the slaughterhouse. She is laughing for some reason. In the crowd of madness, she saw her father fighting huge bloodsuckers. Sirius did not notice the monster behind him. His daughter started screaming that the monster was behind him. The sword master got distracted and missed a mighty blow. He flew off to the side. Elle panically started screaming. She bared her sword and dares to move forward. With a slight movement, the girl cut down half of the demon's body. Sirius asks her why she is here. She wasn't ready yet, for she hadn't awakened. But that didn't stop her. She killed the demons one by one. He realized that at this rate things could turn out badly. While fighting, Elle had only one thing on her mind. She wanted to stop them, to protect the town, to protect everyone, both mom and dad. She thought about Chrome. She was distracted and missed a powerful blow to her back. As she fell, she looked at the monster, but it had already been killed by a sword to the head. Sirius asks what the situation is now. He realizes that even running away like this won't help. The sword master, though battered, is moving forward. He intends to protect all his loved ones. The monster grabbed Elle's head. She hung in his hand like a doll. She is in pain. The pain makes her laugh. She got out of the monster's clutches. All battered, she went forward, but something began to glow. Chrome woke up in the ruins. He started looking for Elle and he saw her on the battlefield. He thinks back to his past life when he couldn't do anything, didn't save any people, couldn't even stop Elle, and later realized he had become that one survivor. Our protagonist waited a long time, and finally was able to return. The girl called his name. She says she has to go. He asks her to stay. Chrome says she can choose not to go, can choose not to become a hero and take full responsibility. The girl screams. She doesn't understand who will save them all then. Smiling, our protagonist says it's okay and he can save them. The girl doesn't understand what he means. Chrome went ahead and Elle ran after him. Reaching out her hand, she wanted to take it, but it seemed to vaporize into thin air. The guy activated the acceleration of 4 times and ran forward. Overcoming the obstacles, Chrome thinks that today was a good day. He was finally able to meet Elle. He was finally able to face Elle and thank Sirius and Lena. He took out a magic stone from his pocket. Placing and biting the stone in his mouth, he continues his memories for today. He had succeeded, albeit slightly, in befriending Labyris. Chrome activated the acceleration by a factor of 7. With the help of magic stones, he would be able to not worry about strength. In this time of peace, he is ready to protect the people he holds dear. Lena comes out of the house and sees Sirius. She doesn't understand what's going on here. The protagonist's teacher asks his wife if she's okay. Labyris is asked if she is okay. She replies that she is fine. When she learns that the demons have attacked, she moves out to help the locals. Without thinking it through, she ran ahead, telling them to stay together. Sirius shouts after her that she shouldn't do anything without thinking, but it was too late. The girl says she's going into town and that Lena needs to wait here. Chroma's foster mother replies to her that she understood her. As Labyris ran to the battlefield, she wondered what Chrome and Elle were doing at the time. The demons are just around the corner. The children in town are panicking, calling for their parents. Everyone is very scared. At the same time, our main character is traveling the distance using speed magic. It is very hard for ordinary people to spot him when he is traveling at such a speed. Finally, Chrome has arrived at the battlefield. He was exactly where he was supposed to be. The guy activates a speed acceleration of 12 times. He kills monsters one by one. They don't even have time to react to his movements. At this moment, the demons are being purified. Exactly 100 years have passed. Now he is present in this moment in time for the second time. Chrome stands before the first demon king, the dragon Labyris. He was certainly looking forward to meeting him. Elle, half dead, stands before the demon king. She swings her sword and launches an attack. But suddenly a beam formed from the monster's mouth. The girl was frightened. A powerful shot of demonic energy came from the demon's jaw. Everything around was blinded by the brightness of this volley. Chrome sees them from afar. He is frightened. This was a battle from 100 years ago. At this moment in time, our protagonist is standing in front of this horrible monster. He informs him that he has missed him, the ancient dragon Labyris. In a terrifying voice, the demon begins a conversation with Chrome. He asks him who he is and how he dared to stand before me with his weak body. Labyris sensed the guy's strongest magic. He can't believe that the one they call a hero is standing in front of him. Chrome replies to the dragon that he is not, and that the guy is just a childhood friend of the hero. The monster does not understand what this young boy is talking about. The demon starts laughing very loudly. This laughter was horrible. He is amused by the fact that he is not a hero in front of him and he has almost no mana and has a weak body, and yet he thinks he can face him, the demon king. The monster can't believe it. Chrome agrees with him. He tells him that he is going to end all demon kings. Puzzled, the dragon interjects his question. He doesn't understand how such a small man can handle such powerful beings. The monster calls the guy a pathetic fool, for he thinks it makes no sense. The demon king rules over all demons. He has defeated the laws of magic and is able to control the laws of this world. The monster is going to show Chrome what it means to be a demon king. Underestimating the guy, he continues to laugh non-stop. The monster is ready to show his true power, but the protagonist has no emotions. He is ready to take the fight. The dragon continues to taunt the boy. He tells the boy that he looks like he has seen a ghost. There was a powerful attack, but Chrome remained unharmed. The monster is shocked at how he did it. The demon king thinks it's impossible, because according to him, no one is able to defend against such a powerful attack. Chrome apologizes to the monster, saying that he has already thought of all the countermeasures to each of his attacks. The demon doesn't believe him and asks him not to be fooled. The next powerful attack came. The guy didn't even move. Chrome casts a time-stopping spell. He explains it by putting his body in a stasis state. An object in stasis will never change its form, hence it is an absolute defense. The protagonist taunts the demon king by telling him that it is all he has. The dragon doesn't believe it. He thinks it can't be. The monster says this several times, after which the guy drops his pouch on the floor. Chrome casts a time acceleration spell. Suddenly trees grow out of the ground, encompassing the demon. He is sure they are nothing, and there is nothing to stop him from breaking them. However, the protagonist uses a time-stopping spell. The monster is dumbfounded. He doesn't understand why he can't move. He activates his favorite spell, namely releasing energy from his mouth. Chrome, ignoring his magical attack, begins a conversation with him about the future that was destined to come. The boy begins the tale. He explains to the demon that the first demon king he was destined to become would kill the hero Elnaru and devastate Guy's homeland as a prelude to the Age of Darkness. This was the beginning of the calamity. The demon asks who he even is. The monster thinks that such a thing is impossible. It shouldn't be possible. Chrome says that he rejects such a future, which he has lived before. The demon king laughs hysterically. All his attacks remain unsuccessful. Chrome tells him, is that all he can do? Now it's time for our protagonist to speak. The ancient dragon has used his breath attack on him so many times that the atmosphere around him is filled with untold amounts of mana. he begins to gather mana around him. Chrome activates magic with atmospheric mana. This useless body that once didn't have a drop of mana took 100 years to reach this realm. The dragon finally lost faith in himself. He doesn't realize what kind of power the guy opposite him possesses, repeating the same words that he is a great demon king and it can't be that he will lose to a small weak man. It can't be the end of him. The protagonist in the meantime continues to save up mana around him. Chrome replies to him that he is not wrong about this. After all, there was no record of the ancient dragon being slain in the future. Mankind was unable to defeat it. Guy says he has been thinking about this victory for 100 years. Chrome activates time acceleration. The demon king looks at him fearfully. The boy informs him that there is no life form that can go against time itself. The dragon cannot believe his defeat. He is amazed at the strength of the boy standing before him. Before his death, the demon king realized that time is the power of Chroma, but he doesn't believe such magic can exist. With a disfigured grimace, he asked how many taboos the lad had broken to go that far. Chrome walks away from him. The demon king fell at the hands of the little man. The protagonist thanks the monster for being the reason he was able to become so strong. The first demon king has been eliminated. The boy returns to his hometown. There is a commotion in the city, and as the protagonist expected, he overloaded his body into this era using magic. The boy is summoned by someone. Chrome Kun, those were the words that Elle repeated, running into the arms of her hero. The girl was very happy that Chrome was alright. Elle furiously tells about his impressions of the guy's battle, but the only thing on his mind is that Elle, who should be dead at this point, is still alive. Chrome is happy that the story has changed. The girl asks what really happened. The guy is confused and starts thinking what to answer. Exhaling, he still got ready to answer. I went back in time as the strongest in the world to change the world, Chrome said contentedly. Elle hollered at him with a look that understood nothing. She thought he was joking and demanded to hear the answers to her questions. Everyone around them was happy with the calm atmosphere. The protagonist looks at the girl in love, with only her smile in his thoughts. He asked her about the conversation on the Hill of Flowers, but Elle changed the subject and said she would tell her another time. And that was how Chrome's first day as a returning. Chrome and Elle, who are standing outside, someone calls out. These people turn out to be their parents. The girl runs to them, and her mother is glad that her children are okay. The daughter and her mother start hugging, asking each other about their condition. Mrs. Lena asks Chroma about his condition. He replies that he is fine. His foster mom congratulates him on coming home. They are all sitting outside together, all happy. I'm home, said our protagonist. These were words of relief, for he had succeeded. The father put his hand on his adopted son's shoulder. He is asked if he has met Labyris, but he has not seen her. His parents tell Chrome that a girl has brought him a birthday present. Elle is shocked at the news. She didn't know they had made up. Thinking back to a previous life, at this time Labyris in his opinion should have been in the royal capital, so she survived the great catastrophe. Chrome thinks that because his relationship with Labyris has changed, history can change even in a place like this. Guy says he'll accept the gift if he comes back tomorrow with his girlfriend. Nevertheless, the case is full of obscure things. As soon as he thought the ground shook, monsters instantly appeared. This is what Chrome tells his family about. Well then, the mysterious hero defeated the horde of monsters. Sirius asks the guy if he knows anything about it. The protagonist replies that he hasn't heard anything. The father explains his question by saying that Chrome was out of town and he thought the lad knew something. Mistress Lane interrupts them. They should be eating, not talking about complicated things. The woman reminds Chrome that it's his birthday and he can eat as much as he wants. After eating, the boy falls into his bed. He tried to look his usual self, but his body is in much worse condition than expected. The protagonist realizes that he should get some rest. It seems that his magic circuitry was damaged due to too much strain, but it won't interfere with his daily life. Chrome activates a time-stopping spell on his house. The walls and windows of this house will not be deformed even if there is a storm at night. The house will still be safe. Lying on his bed, Chrome thinks about the fact that he is done with this disaster, but he can't calm down yet. After all, a second demon king will soon be born on this earth. A series of demon lords that should only appear once every few hundred years. This is not a coincidence. He recalls the association of magicians. In this world that revolves around magic, they have immense power. They do not choose means, murder, kidnapping, and torture for research. Last time he rose to the top of this organization. Thus, Chrome was finally able to find out the connection between the Demon King's birth and the association. He realized it with the help of the materials that were linked. It's not a natural disaster, it's a man-made disaster, and the association of mages is behind it. The protagonist is taking a meal with his family. The father tells them that he will be traveling to the royal capital for a short while. They inquire about his departure, to which he tells them that he is going to report on yesterday's attack and also plans to request that a research team be sent from the capital. Chrome starts to analyze but is interrupted and told that if there is no danger then everything is fine. There are few adventurers in this city and they have no skills. Sirius senses something artificial about this, and if something happens again, the forces of the local population may not be enough to remedy the situation. This must be a premonition he developed as a knight. The protagonist is not surprised by this thinking. If Sirius had survived a previous life, perhaps the future would have moved in a better direction. His wife worriedly asks about his intentions to act alone. In response, he replies that he is no longer young and will not do reckless things. The woman approves of this. He informs her that he will try to return as soon as possible, and in case of an emergency, his father will relay the message. The man calls for Chrome. Sirius entrusts the care of the city and L to him. We return to yesterday. In it, Labyris lies tired. She is worried that she ended up failing to deliver the gift. The girl is sad at this point. Labyris is in the house at the moment of the demon attack. Sirius tries to stop the girl, but she runs away. Labyris activates body strengthening magic 5. As she ran through the city, she did not believe that the city could be attacked by monsters. She encountered a kind of black creature. She stopped. She was shocked looking at the mutilated bodies of the demons. She didn't realize what it could be. Looking closer, she saw the corpses of the demons. Turning her head to the right, she spotted someone. Labyris began to look straight ahead and gaze to see who was standing in front of her. She saw a dragon. As she was frightened, she realized that what was happening was very dangerous. At this moment in time, Chroma's victorious attack was about to begin. She thought that the person standing in front of her was a fool who dared to face the Demon King alone. The protagonist started casting his spell and she didn't realize what was happening. After the guy's decisive attack, she was shocked, for he defeated the creature in just one instant. She asked him if he was her friend. She thinks if it's an enemy, she can't let it into the city, but her body stopped moving. In the moment before the guy disappeared, she saw a piece of his face. She thought the guy was her friend Chrome. On reflection, she did not realize whether she had imagined it or not, for she was far away and could not see for sure. But still she was sure that it was our main character. One question plagued her. What if it really was Chrome? Chrome continues to train with his sword in the fresh air. The guy still thinks he's not in his best shape. He doesn't want to fight a strong enemy in his current state yet. The protagonist wanted to get into the maze as soon as possible. It's still dangerous to rush things, as there's still 1 week left before the birth of the second Demon King. Taking his blade in his hand, he stares into his reflection in the perfectly chiseled sword. He sees the hair behind the tree in the reflection, and he thought he saw Labyris hiding behind it. He wondered why she was sneaking around. Chrome walks away around the corner of the house, and the girl continues to follow the boy stealthily, as it seems to her. As she approaches the house, he startles her. The protagonist pushes her against the wall. Chrome started a conversation that he noticed the girl's surveillance long ago. He is interested in her intentions. The boy directly asks what she wants, but she doesn't even look at him. After gathering himself, Labyris starts a conversation about yesterday. The boy didn't understand specifically what she was talking about and asked about the gift. He told her what he had heard from Mistress Rena about her surprise for him. Labyris reports that she was going to talk about that too. Guy didn't understand what else she wanted to talk about then. Leaning down in front of him, the girl held out a gift to him. He couldn't believe that she had actually prepared it for him. It was a surprise to Chrome. But after all, they had agreed to be friends. The protagonist began to smile, so she fulfilled her promises and prepared a gift for him. The girl began to tell that she prepared it without anyone's help. Chrome opened the package. Inside was a biscuit. She realizes it's handmade. It's just that the girl thought the shape wasn't very good, but maybe he'll like this cheap thing she made herself. The guy was smiling achidically, and Labyris thought he was laughing because he looked weird. But that wasn't the point. Chrome thought it looked like her. The girl doesn't know what he means. The protagonist started thanking and stroking Labyris's head and said he was very happy. Suddenly they noticed Elle standing nearby. The boys wondered how long she had been standing there. The girl they hadn't noticed stood there with her mouth open in surprise. She couldn't believe what she was seeing. Elle took Labyris's hands, looked at her and told her that they had really made up. The girl looked at her friend stunned. Elle was very happy, for Labyris had said in confidence that she had always wanted to make up with Chrome. But she was embarrassed and told her not to say so. Elle went back to her childhood, saying that they would play again as a threesome and spend time together. Labyris replied to her that the girl had not heard her words spoken earlier. Elle dragged them off to have fun, but the girl had slightly different plans. Walking around town, Chroma's stepsister told them that when the three of them play, she feels like they've gone back in time. The protagonist says that he didn't come to play but to inspect something, but is interrupted. Elle cheerfully talks about a place where you can eat monster meat with no restrictions. The boys understand. She doesn't listen to them. Despite this, people draw a certain mysterious hero. He is considered magnificent. A townsman talks about finding the corpse of a dragon. The place is about to be called to the processing masters. A meat counter vendor advertises his meat, calling it the best in town. The city is peppered with corpses from yesterday's attack. Labyris says that it would be terrible to lose such a landmark city. Chrome is approached by a salesman, asking if he is on patrol today and if he can be relied upon. The guy wonders if he has a problem or if something unusual has happened. The man replies that yes, yesterday's violent shaking caused furniture to fall, tiles to collapse from the roof, and so on. Without listening, Chrome directly asks the salesman if there were any strangers or anyone suspicious. For example, someone from the Magicians Association. The salesman said, "I think there was someone from the Magicians Association." He asks a counter question about the rumors of some mysterious character. Uncle says that this hero is being sought and there is even a bounty on him. Chrome is surprised, for they set the reward for just one night. They act faster than our protagonist thought. He replied to the salesman that it must be one of those stories where they say that if you show your talent, you will be kidnapped by mages. The man thinks this is a disaster. The heroes get caught by those who make a lot of trouble. Chrome tells him if something happens, it should be shared. The purpose of the association is probably to eliminate him and then autopsy him. Returning to the girls, he overhears their heated argument. The lad inquires of Labyris what she has happened, but turning his head, he is distracted by something. She replies to him that nothing is wrong. He notices the girl, apparently she has fallen. Labyris says she hates crying children. At that moment, Chrome went to the girl who was sitting on the floor. The protagonist asks the girl if she is hurt. The child recognizes him, calling him Brother Chrome. She reports that she can't stop the blood. The boy comforts her, saying that everything will be alright now, for he will cure her with his magic. The little girl doesn't trust much because the whole town knows that Chrome is bad at magic. He has begun his cure. The protagonist leaned his hand on the child's knee and activated a spell to return to the past. Chrome inquires about the girl's condition, whether she is all gone and his magic has helped her. He wished the girl a good journey home, but Labyris gave him a very strange look. The girl asked the boy what it was. She thinks it is impossible. It is not clear to her what kind of magic it was. Chrome tricks the girlfriend into saying that it was just healing magic, but Labyris remembers that he didn't have healing magic abilities. Healing magic has a low predisposition and high difficulty to master. Besides, she has never heard of such a thing that wounds heal instantly without leaving any marks. Apparently, magic was not that advanced in this era. Without letting the conversation finish, they were interrupted by Elle. Chrome was glad to have her back, while Labyris was worried about where she had been all this time. Taking out pieces of paper, she showed them to the boys. In these pieces of paper was written a list of problems. Elle listened to almost everyone in the town. The protagonist was surprised because she had accumulated so many notes in such a short period of time. Chrome thinks it's due to his girlfriend's charm. It seems like a lot of people are having trouble breaking furniture. They are going to start doing it gradually. They finished their business. Chrome was glad they had helped him. The boys apologized to Labyris for making her walk with her for so long and thanked her for today. They had fun. The children wanted moments like this to go on forever. Labyris agreed with them. At this moment in time they were all sure to be happy. As they said their goodbyes, 3 men in hoods and robes were eavesdropping around the corner. On the way home, Labyris reflects that she never had time to ask Chrome about yesterday, but she doesn't think it matters much anymore. She hopes that there will be more days like this, just like Elle said. At this moment, suspicious individuals go into the ground with the help of magic. Suddenly they attack Labyris from underground. She didn't expect such an unexpected turn. She looks around at the people surrounding her. In them she sees the mages. Asking who they are, the suspicious people tell her that she need not be so afraid. She is informed that they are not suspicious persons, for they are from an association of magicians. Labyris, hearing these words, looked at them in surprise. Labyris still didn't understand anything. The sorcerer said that he had heard of a hero who had saved the city. According to their information, she was a little girl. It seems to the men that she has the necessary qualities. She has quality magic power. They immediately realized how talented she was. The magician turned to Labyris. He informed her that she did not have to be so vigilant, and he was only interested in one question. The man asked if she was the hero who had destroyed yesterday's escape. The girl said they were mistaken and she was not. The Magicians Association does not believe her. The sorcerer speaks of humans. They are beings who lie and he is not a being who can detect lies. The girl has a question. How will they be able to understand each other? She has no idea what they mean. The magician asks to be allowed to pass on to her one wise phrase shared by an association of magicians. Through anatomical examination everything becomes clear, thus the sorcerer meant that they want to kill her. Labyris activated the body strengthening magic 5. The girl is going to use the paired blade technique. She believes that she has an advantage in a one-on-one battle with the mage. The sorcerer activates the body strengthening spell 6. Without much exertion, the man strikes the girl. She flies aside, dropping her swords. Labyris looks at the men and notices a mark of some sort. She realizes that it is not magic, but the insignia of a first-class mage. The girl is surprised. Are there so many first-class mages? As many as 6. The sorcerer activates the Sleepy Haze spell 6. The girl doesn't like the situation that happened. She starts to close her eyes. Labyris falls asleep from the spell. With his hands raised, the sorcerer addresses a certain gentleman. He asks what they should do with this girl. They all surround the girl, waiting for an answer. The voice replies that this is pretty good stuff and it is worth putting this girl on the list. She might even be able to reach the level of a demon king. A crowd of mages approaches the house. They say that some of the heroes may be here. Rumors that the daughter of this house is a hero have also reached him. Perhaps it's the same person. As long as that swordsman isn't here, they're going to catch her and dissect her. They meant about L. The sorcerer activates the noise-canceling Zone 4 spell. They begin their operation. No matter what they do, no sound will leak out. The heroes are a hindrance to the plans of the Magicians Association. One of them started to discuss the plan, but one guy wasn't listening to him and he turned to him. We are shown the guy's face and he says they are all first-class mages here, and so what are they being cautious about? Even that rank 5 girl was helpless. They're going to take L away. The mage activates the Fire Bullet 6 spell, but they try to stop him because he will probably burn her alive with this spell. The guy says if everyone gets burned then you can say it was a mistake. He's going to incinerate the house. His spell didn't work. He doesn't know what's wrong because he couldn't be wrong. Behind his back someone said they needed to move away from this house. The mage turned around sharply. The sorcerer didn't even realize when this guy so silently managed to get so close to him. Chrome thinks that if the Mage Association came on their own, they saved him a lot of time. The sorcerer doesn't realize who he is. Chrome turns to the Magicians Association. His friend hasn't come home yet, and then he saw them. The protagonist tells them that they are involved in all this. The magician is feeling the pressure but doesn't feel any magic from this guy. He recalls that the Moonheart family has a servant who can't use magic at all. The sorcerer is not surprised why he didn't sense him using magic detection. Chrome surprised the guy because he thinks he is both weak and a loser, and how a loser like him can stand up against first-class mages. First-class mages? Asked the boy, to which the sorcerer replied to him that that is exactly what it is and it is too late to turn back. It seems to the mage that Chrome is so scared he can't even move. After speaking up, the guy in the robe said that Labyris' face of despair was also a masterpiece. The protagonist asks what he did to his mate. The mage replies that maybe she is already dead. The guy says that means she's still alive. Smugly, the boy in the robe doesn't suspect Chrome might do anything against him. He wants to kill him right now. The sorcerer begins his attack. The protagonist in turn activates his spell, namely slowing down. The mage is surprised. He doesn't understand why everything has disappeared, as if everything the sorcerer created has been erased. Modern first-class mages are so low level, spending so much time on rank 6 magic is ridiculous, Chrome said. The mage doesn't hear what the guy is reasoning. He still doesn't understand how he did this. He guessed that the protagonist had just erased his spell, but Chrome no longer cared because he had found out what he wanted. Now mages need equipment to use magic. By attacking, he destroyed his tool for magic. The sorcerer turned around to ask for help, but saw his team lying unconscious. He doesn't understand why everyone is on the ground. Chrome approached him claiming that they were from an association of magicians. The mage realized that this guy has only treated him since his appearance. He doesn't understand what's going on as they are all first-class mages. The sorcerer calls him a monster. Chrome isn't going to kill them because destroying them is costly, and besides, it puts him in a bad mood. Instead, if he destroys his magic chains. But such a method has not yet been discovered. But the protagonist will still do it. The magician from the association is in a panic. He finds it horrible to live without magic. Chrome thanks him for putting up the sound barrier. When the magician screams, he won't disturb the guy's neighbors. The sorcerer asks him to kill him, at least he will die as a mage. Chrome starts to conjure. The mage doesn't understand why such a huge amount of magical energy while the protagonist has no magical power. Chrome thinks it's time to call it a day. Returning home, he is greeted by Elle asking if he has found the Labyris. He says he hasn't, but he's learnt that she's already left town. The girl worries if something has happened to her, but the guy reassures her. He says he doesn't think anything special has happened, and he already knows where Labyris is because he was told by a nice guy who saw her. So he's going after her right now. Elle looks at him in bewilderment. The girl thinks it's dangerous. She hopes he is not going to fight alone again, saying that she can fight too. She activates the spell. A magical bow appears in front of her. Elle does not want to wait again. It's true. Despite how she looks, Elle is strong. Even if she hasn't awakened, she's still a hero. But still, he stops her, saying it's okay and there's nothing dangerous about it. She shouldn't worry. Elle apologizes, she thinks she's being selfish. Chrome reassures her, saying she's not acting like that. He likes her feelings. Elle stays home, waiting for the moment when they return together. On leaving the house, the protagonist thinks that Labyris may have been captured by the association. According to the magician, the girl is still alive. He cannot say whether concealment magic or something else was applied to her. Perhaps Labyris was transported to the association's hidden base. The location of this base he learnt in the future. We are shown a map of the area. To the left of the city goes the entrance to the underground labyrinth of the city of Almana. A source of great calamities and cataclysms, it is assumed that the mages are conducting research on the Demon King in the deepest part of it. The reason they took the Labyris was probably because of this investigation. The next appearance of the Demon King was supposed to be in a few weeks. Was the association going to use the Labyris as a receptacle? He couldn't say he was in perfect physical shape yet, but there wouldn't be any problems on that level. The amount of magic stones he had procured in the city was quite enough. He began his journey. Chrome approached the entrance of the labyrinth. There were 2 mages from the association standing there. They asked him what he was doing here. They were surprised that he was still a child. Chrome activated a time-stopping spell. Knocking them out, he said he would make everyone regret that they had touched his friend. The underground labyrinth of Almana City is a low-level labyrinth consisting of 12 floors. If the Labyris is here, it is in the deepest part. On the 12th floor, Chrome realizes that there must be traps here, but he activates time acceleration by a factor of 7. The protagonist moved forward at an extraordinary speed. The traps are triggered, but they don't have enough speed to hit him. The magicians from the association heard that the traps had been triggered. They thought something was wrong. The sorcerers spotted Chrome, but he was too fast. One by one, the protagonist demolished the opponents. The mages thought he had disappeared, but he was already behind them. Chrome activated the time acceleration spell. In an instant, he destroyed the magical tools of all the sorcerers. He asked them all to be silent. The hero activates a time-stopping spell. Chrome passed the ground floor. He calculates that at this pace he can reach the deepest part in less than 20 minutes. The protagonist ran lower. He found that the monsters had already revived. One of them was a synthetic monster. The amount of magic power was unsuitable for such a low difficulty maze. It was a byproduct of the Demon King's birth. No wonder the association paid attention to it. Most likely the Labyris is wanted to be used as a vessel of the Demon King. Chrome remembers what happened to the girl in his past life. He stands before a huge monster. That monster was the second Demon King, the Princess of Firesin Scarlet. The boy doesn't understand how it happened. At least he's going to finish it. After killing her, Labyris's blood squirts on him. He doesn't want to kill her anymore. The magicians notice Chrome. They wonder how he got here and where the guards are. They are about to inform the 6th. Chrome activates a time-stopping spell. He overcomes one of the sorcerers without difficulty. The men are shocked at his speed. As the protagonist expected, they were not prepared for the attack. The mages don't realize what he's talking about, and at the same second one of them is chopped in half. Chrome that same second calmly walked through them. They don't understand who he is or what's going on here. The sorcerer shouts to a certain 6th man that the labyrinth is under attack. The mage informs the 6th man that Chrome is breaking through. The man reassures him. He asks a counter question about how many magical defenses he thinks are built into this labyrinth. There are 50 mages of 3rd class 50 or higher here, the sorcerer reports. He can't contact anyone on the 5th floor. Probably the guy is already on the 6th and will soon be on the 7th. He is clarified on the 7th floor. The 6th is shocked, for the intruder is only one. They are puzzled. How did one person get to the 7th floor against so many mages and synthetic monsters? He thought there was a hero in their dungeon. Did Hughes and the others who were in town end up in the wrong place? They think what does. The mages suggest delaying the execution of the plan and try to intercept him. A certain mage with chains offers to deal with Chrome one-on-one. It was a puppet old mage. They're asking if he can do it alone. But guarding the labyrinth, it is the old mage's duty. As he leaves, he tells the 6th not to worry and to keep working on his plan. But there is a possibility that he is hunting the dragon forebears. He is told to remain calm. Even though he is a hero, he is still only human. The sorcerer doesn't know what trick the intruder used, but he was able to attack the base alone. The old magician turns to the 6th man. Does he know what this means? The sorcerer has realized something. This intruder is accelerating in front of many mages and traps. He must be continuing to use powerful body-strengthening magic, even assuming that the amount of magic the hero has is equal to the limit value for a human. This is about the point at which magic power runs out. That's right, replies the mage. But it feels like he repeatedly uses magic without thinking of the consequences to break through the defenses of this base. Although he is a hero, but at the end of the day he is still an amateur, said the sorcerer. It seems that the 6th was a bit confused. What he thinks is that no matter how many inferior mages are killed, There will be no problem if he is not allowed into the laboratory. Rains is pleased that the sixth is finally awake. Now that the hero is weakened, this is the perfect moment to destroy him, the old sorcerer ponders. He plans to use his puppet magic. He wants to make the hero their slave. The sixth isn't surprised by Rain's ideas, but they'll try to keep the hero out of here anyway. The only way in and out of here was a magical teleportation circle. He leaves the matter to Rains. Destroying the sorcerers, Chrome seemed to have less magical power. They extract the magical power from the labyrinth and use it for research. He expected this, but the place is a mess. A spell was used on the protagonist, but he managed to dodge. Chrome sees the next floor in front of him. But here was a trap. 5 sorcerers formed a powerful spell in front of him. It was called Fire Bullet 9. Chrome wasn't the least bit afraid, he was serious. The sorcerers fired a powerful volley of magic and began to rejoice that they had succeeded. But Chrome wiped it out, leaving not even ashes. The protagonist is pleased with himself. The mages are shocked, for after a level 9 magic attack, the guy was unharmed. Suddenly magical energy forms from the satanic circle on the floor. Rains is teleported to the given location. The old sorcerer addresses Chrome as the hero who stopped the monster's rampage. Monsters that have been breeding for years, but he shows up at an opportune time. After saying now, Rains activates his spell. Now is a good time to try out a new job, agreed the old mage. Controlling his puppets, Rains says he's wanted to try this out for a long time. What Lord Clyde provided. He was the 12th sage, 4th place, the strongest life form created by a sage of life. He considers the monster a beautiful and perfect creature, a magical creature with power that combines all kinds of magical creatures, a monster that can rival the highest ranked group of adventurers. Rain swings her wand. He activates on the monster's body enhancement 6, 5 senses enhancement 6, stealth enhancement 6, healing power enhancement 6, evasion 6. And the final touch was still spell strengthening 6, activated spell forced obedience 6. In the past, he wanted to use this spell on the hero when the opportunity presented itself. He is going to subdue our protagonist. Rains thinks this is awesome. If this were a fair open fight, perhaps the hero would have a chance to win, but now the outcome of the battle is decided long before it begins. That's what the old sorcerer thinks. The sixth is calm and is going to continue to execute the plan. He was a little disturbed by the sudden attack, but all is well now, says their chief. They're going to get started. The wheels of the table begin to wobble involuntarily. This time they have some pretty good tools they can use. Thus the sixth has once again approached the throne of the 12 wise men. Rains activates magic barrier 6. The old sorcerer thinks that now the hero can't even get close to him. He shouts for him to show himself. Chrome stands right in front of him. He was very determined. Rains called Chrome his name. He commands his monsters to kill him. Suddenly his monster is killed very quickly. The old mage is disappointed, for it was a demonic creature created by his master. Rains doesn't understand why he was able to do this, for his magic should have run out by now. He is dumbfounded, for he can't understand how the guy got such powerful magic. Grandfather calms himself, for he still has his subjugation spells. As Chrome turned aside, Rains thought he had a chance. He swung his wand. But suddenly something happened. The magic circle disappeared. Approaching the barrier, Chrome loosened it with a casual flick. The old sorcerer reassures himself that the rank 6 barrier will not break so easily. Chrome activates a time acceleration spell. Suddenly the mana consumption suddenly increased. At this rate, Rains won't be able to maintain the barrier. In just 5 seconds from the time the protagonist appeared, the old sorcerer was immobilized. He doesn't understand where the guy got such colossal magical powers. Chrome activates the spell. Raising his hand upwards, there is an accumulation of mana. Grandfather realized that Chrome was using external magic. But at a time like this is impossible in terms of modern magical theory. Rains does not understand what the protagonist is doing. Kneeling, rays of light form around the old magician. Using his spell, Chrome's eyes change, becoming in the shape of a clock face. The old sorcerer from the Magicians Association likes his spell. He thinks it is a very beautiful phenomenon. We are shown a Labyris located in a forest. She appears to be lost. She sees a frightened hare in the bushes that has frightened her. She figures if something happens to her sword, she can handle it. We are shown a huge monster. It came out from behind the trees and the girl saw it. She doesn't understand where it came from. Suddenly her legs began to tremble. She can't move, but someone calls out to her. A huge monster stands before her. She holds her blade. Suddenly Chrome appears here. He tells the girl it's okay because he's here, just like a real hero. He attacks the big monster. The boy scares it, and the monster runs away. He is tired, but glad he chased it away. Labyris begins to hug him. He informs her that the monster is gone and that he is fine and she should not cry. She thinks her brother Chrome almost died. The main character apologizes to her for being so weak and making her worry about herself. Had he been stronger, he wouldn't have made the girl cry over something like this. Chrome says that even though he is weak, he promises her something. When Labyris cries, he will always come to her aid. Guy keeps his hands on her shoulders and watches her carefully. That's why you should always smile, Labyris, Chrome said of it. She listens carefully to his promise. Something has begun to happen. The girl wakes up with her hands restrained. It was a dream. She realized that she had been kidnapped. The girl recognizes a research center in the area. The girl discovers many cultivation tanks. There are many of them. She also notices someone in the water. It was a monster. There were monsters in all the tanks. They are creating a huge horde of monsters using the magic power of the maze, thought Labyris. The association mages approached her and began their conversation on the subject of the vessel. The appearance of the demon lord is a great calamity, said the sixth. He began to talk about a plan to artificially create a demon lord. It was his plan to transform the horrible monster. Labyris doesn't understand what he means. He informs the other sorcerers that they can begin to rejoice, for he will now create a second demon lord. The girl is puzzled. The sixth shows the Demon King's cells. This injection contains cells taken from the fossilized fossil of the primordial Demon King, the progenitor dragon. The power of the dragon progenitor as Demon Lord is an individual evolution. In other words, by adopting these cells, you evolve, and the one who adapts to these cells will become a Demon King. Wonderful thing, said one of the magicians of the association. Everyone began to ask for the injection. Labyris, chained to the wall, thought about how horrible these people were. A perfect new world ruled by humans who had evolved to wipe out inferior species. Such a future promises a sixth. They begin an attempt to evolve the world. All of them are ready to get down to business. The first man injected did not adapt to them and his head was blown up. The next person in line was injected with the serum. A similar situation occurred. 2 more took their horrible fate. Labyris thinks she too will be killed. The queue is coming to an end. The last man is dead. The girl, however, is something in Mr. Cradle Sam's opinion. The girl asks the sorcerer to stop. He asks why she has such a face, for she should be happy. He is sure she can adapt and become the second Demon King. If it was possible, he would like to make a Demon Lord out of a number of association agents, but apparently that won't happen. Labyris screams she is asking for help. Six tells her that no one will come to her. He reports that a certain hero has been killed by his comrades and is already being dissected. Perhaps in her opinion it is Chrome. She almost can't hold back her tears. The girl doesn't want her friend to be killed. She asks the protagonist for help, but the sorcerer informs her that he is not here. But suddenly Chrome enters this room. Labyris recognizes him. He informs her that everything is all right now. The girl recalls her dream where the guy said the same thing. She asks how he got here, but in response the boy wants to know why the girl is crying. Didn't he promise that if Labyris cries, he will surely come to the rescue? Tells her this to Chrome. The protagonist asks her if she remembers it. It is an important promise that he will never forget. The boyfriend suggests that she go home together, for they are expected there. Six is dumbfounded. He wonders if he really thinks he can get away. She doesn't know how he got here, but the girl looks at him and doesn't feel any magical power. He seems to have used it all up. Pulling out a magic wand, the sixth says this is the end for them. In this room is the 5th grade mage and 5 others. Chrome calms Labyris, saying that everything is alright. There's no way out. Is it over? Those are the words of our protagonist. Chrome threatens the sixth that he can make his dear childhood friend cry and leave, but he doesn't. The boy begins to conjure. A magical barrier forms around the boy. The sorcerer recognizes someone in it. The magician calls the boy the dragon's ancestor. Chrome says the sixth is weaker than he thought. The association thinks what they can do to the one who ran out of magic, they're going to attack all at once. The magicians raise their wands up, preparing to create magic. The spell Ice Spears 6 was formed. Labyris is startled, for this is a multiple attack with level 6 magic. Magic attacks flew towards our protagonist, but he didn't move. Chrome activates a time-stopping spell. All the ice spears stopped and fell down. The girl didn't realize whether it was magic or not. She doesn't understand what kind of power it is, for it completely ignores the laws of this world. Coming closer, the protagonist swung to strike. Shattering the halted ice flows with his sword, he begins to move towards the mages. Six doesn't understand how the guy did it. The old sorcerer begins his speech, but Chrome interrupts him, saying that if he hadn't been there, they would have carried out the plan to become demon lords. The ancient dragon would continue to rage and they would spawn new demon after demon, all according to plan. A future of destruction was coming. This is the way it was meant to be. The sorcerer doesn't understand how he knows so much. The grandfather demands an answer from the boy. At that moment his magic wand breaks. He is completely disarmed, and Chrome stands before him with his blade extended. The boy says that this future will end right here and now. Labyris is surprised. The magician pulls an injection out of his jacket, saying this is not the end. The blind mage prepares to inject himself. He starts to move, but the protagonist interrupts him. The protagonist, having stopped time, steals the last syringe from the mage's hands, and now the sorcerer has no Demon King cells left. 6 doesn't realize when he did it, for just now the thing was in his hand. It would have been better if he had stopped. This is not something a mage like him can handle. That was what Chrome had said. 6 takes it as childish threats. The protagonist asks where the Demon King's remaining cells are and demands to give them up. The sorcerer doesn't understand what he's going to do with them, but the guy has already made up his mind. He's going to get rid of all the Demon King cells in this world. Raising his hands, the sorcerer, realizing his purpose, says he will give them to him. As much as he wants, he starts to apply some spell that starts to collapse all the objects with little monsters. The sorcerer commands them to wake up. Chrome grabs Labyris and they run. The little monsters began to evolve into big monsters. The girl doesn't understand what is happening. The Demon Association laughs gloatingly. They want the guys to feel the terror of the Demon King's cells. Chrome asks the girl if she is alright. In return, he gets a positive answer. The protagonist asked if she had taken a bath in the nourishing liquid. Labyris informed that she had not taken a bath here at all. This answer reassured the guy. Perhaps there are Demon King cells in this liquid. The girl realized something, remembering the exploding heads of the association agents. She put forward her assumption. These monsters are most likely the result of the Demon King's cultivation. Chrome answered her that they were, and carried her further towards the exit of the labyrinth. Regardless of what happens, she is forbidden from releasing magic. She was informed of this by the boy. Labyris agreed with him. Looking around, Chrome noticed the remaining mages. The chief sorcerer was angry, for he had even given the Demon King cells they desired. But the boys still rejected the universally desired gift. The sorcerer said that the more spectators, the more interesting. He wishes to show them his evolution. He injected himself with a serum. The old sorcerer has begun to transform. He succeeded and became much larger and grew wings. The demon began to say that he was the only one who had been able to adapt and he liked it. Laughing eerily, he shouts that he has reached his limit. The girl looks fearfully at the creature. The monster declares himself the second Demon King. The creature tells them that they may rejoice, for they have witnessed the birth of the Demon King. He announces the second act of the Great Calamity. Labyris asks the lad in surprise that this is the Demon King. The lad replies no. This monster is not a Demon King and creatures like him don't matter because they are uncreated monsters. That's exactly what Chrome said. A very nasty substance of the monster starts moving towards the guys. It was much smaller than a real demon, but it still inspired terror. But suddenly something began to happen. No one realized what it was. The monster began its attack, but something went wrong. He thinks he is the Demon King, and the one who can subdue all the monsters he has created. All the creatures began to seem to die as if they were melting in lava. The demon begs for help, it doesn't want to die. Labyris does not understand what is happening. It was the Demon King. The magicians probably didn't think that the cultivation liquid would be suitable as a vessel. The girl began to realize what was happening. That was why they couldn't control it and Chrome noticed it too, but it was already too late. We are shown the Lord of Gluttony and the second life form of the Demon King, and more of the ocean where the Devourers are moving. The second Demon King has made his appearance. The second Demon King has appeared in this world. He ate up many kingdoms and continued to expand steadily in Chrome's previous life. His name was the Lord of Gluttons. The power to melt and take in everything he touches, making it his own. Materials, magic, knowledge, and skills, all consumed and taken away. The Demon King the protagonist knew was not so small. He had awakened much earlier, perhaps because of his intervention. He thinks about how to defeat him, and realizes that he can't do it now. Guy turns to Labyris, telling him to run away while he eats the monsters. The protagonist's initial task was to let the girl escape. As they ran towards the exit, he scattered his magic stones. The demon felt these shards and was drawn to the strong magical energy. That's why you shouldn't use magical power. Chrome reminded her of this in this way. The guy has thought of something, he thinks it should work. Labyris asked him what he was doing, for it would be better to go to the exit as soon as possible. In response to her words, she learnt that there was no entrance or exit. They use moving through the labyrinth. The girl asked how he knew how to use it and he told her that he had used it several times before. Labyris wondered when had that ever happened. But in a past life, Chrome had been the head of an association of mages, so he had used this experimental labyrinth for research. The working methods also differed depending on the labyrinth. The protagonist is bogged down in authentication by magic wavelength and won't be able to use the movement function. He realized, even if it doesn't work, but he will know when the last move outside the maze was made, then they will be able to get out. But the guy doesn't know how he can know the time. At one point, Chrome realizes what he needs to do. He began to remember that according to the goddess calendar, on the 10th of April 1208, a great catastrophe occurred. A dragon progenitor and a horde of monsters escaped from the maze using the teleportation function. The boy needs to change the time on the control panel to this date and time. The protagonist activates a spell to turn back time. He succeeds and performs the traveling function. He calls Labyris and asks to enter this circle to move out of the labyrinth. When the girl entered the circle, the second Demon King had already caught up with them. The girl shouts to him about their imminent approach. Chrome apologizes to Labyris and smiles. The protagonist has activated the teleporter, but the girl hasn't realized anything yet. Before her teleportation, the guy says he has to stop it here and now. Labyris thinks it's a joke and none of this is serious. The boy reassures the girl, informing her that he has become so strong that he won't die if he runs into someone like him. Labyris calls him to him, but it was too late. She doesn't understand why he leaves her alone again. The guy winks and says she's still the same crybaby. This time he wants to keep his promise to her. The girl doesn't know what he's talking about. We need to defeat the Demon King while he's weak. This is the right time when he was just born. The protagonist believes if he doesn't, everyone he cares about in his town will be devoured. When Labyris was little, he promised to help her, but last time, all the guy could do was kill his mate. But Chrome doesn't despair, for the girl and he have grown stronger. Labyris begs her not to do it, calling him brother. The protagonist went to the glass, they put their palms against each other, and he calmed her down, saying that it was alright, for he had worked hard and she would not cry so often anymore. They will always be together and will be able to protect everyone further. That's why the guy does that. As Chrome says goodbye, Chrome asks his girlfriend to smile, but her face looks a little angry. The demon has already approached and is ready to start the fight. For the sake of the future, Chrome must deal with the present. Now will be the beginning of the battle between the second Demon King and Chrome, who has returned from the future to fix the present. An image of a monster began to form from the vile slurry. It turned out to be a fearsome girl, inspiring terror. Voices from her body began to speak, asking her to stay and play with them. At one time, dozens of monsters inside the Demon King spoke. Here he himself spoke, offering to play with him forever. After saying that he was sorry, Chrome began his attack. He cannot accept the demon's invitation, for he has a place to go back to. The protagonist is going to finish him off right here. The demon doesn't understand why the guy refuses. Is he that weak? The monster convinces Chrome that trying to overpower him is futile. The creature asks the question again, why can't the boy accept them? Isn't he lonely and scared? The Demon King reassures the boy that soon everyone will be like him. His whole family, his friends, his hometown, everything in the world. Chrome activated time acceleration spell 5, speed increase. A monster attacks the guy, but he dodges. The demon sees something funny in this, it continues trying to kill the boy. It's all a game to the monster, like he's playing hide and seek. He's having fun. The protagonist continues to run away, dodging all the creature's attacks. At one point, the guy sees the monster's weak spot and strikes, cutting off a part of its body. Raising a rock with magic, Chrome rises on it to a height. He considers him the worst of all the Demon Kings. He should not be consumed here. This demon lord is as stated, with the cruel innocence of a child, and he will try to destroy the world.